Hi everybody, it's TJ with NetPicks.com and the 7 Summits Trader. Been getting a lot of requests to go over yesterday's trades with the Russell eMini and the 625 tick. It was an amazing session. It was a session that had us winning 3 trades throughout the session and posting over 19 points. That's $1,900. Of course, that's 19 points with our 2-position approach, but that is our standard SST approach. It was an interesting session because we also had one of the long trades momentarily filtered out by one of the new filters that's in the SST Pro calculator. That's a video that I did about a week or so ago explaining how that works, but I'll go ahead and show it to you again. So let's just briefly run through yesterday's session on the Russell 625. As in typical SST fashion, we had the little plus sign here once the bar closed below the trigger line, and we had our OSOB giving us our confirming indication. That gave us our short at 796.8. That was 5 minutes after our start time. Actually 3 minutes after our start time because we start at 9:32 Eastern. We let the market kind of shake around for a couple minutes before taking our first setup. And that trade triggered in, and it took quite a while before it got on track, and you'll notice that the stop gave it room, hiding up here above resistance. We even had a moment, one bar anyway, where we thought we were going to end our session, the stop in reverse. We would have had to stop out at the entry to go long, and that would have been the end of our session because the trade plan will go until the first losing trade. That's what has made this particular approach successful. So if the first trade of the day is a loss, you're just done for the day. But if you win, you keep taking trades. And that's what happened yesterday, and you could really hit a home run on many occasions. But on the very next bar, it closed back below the trigger line, and it canceled the long trade, and you'll notice it stayed short, and it started to break lower, and then the stop started to cut risk. And when it finally hit our full target, we took off one position, and at that point, we lock in a risk-free position on our trailing stop, and you'll see how the stop moved down. Notice that our entry was here, but the stop is now holding that trailer in, giving it room. And then, of course, it jumped down a little more, but then it really took a jump down as the price started to progress. And we began to implement our trailing stop tactic, which is following the faster trailing indicator, this purple line here. And it finally stopped out at this dot right here. And that was at 790.3 for the trailer. So look at that. We got short at 796.8. That trailer got all the way down to 790.3. Now at this point, the trade room had already finished, and SST traders were able to continue trading on their own, following the trade plan. A lot of them quit with this first trade, winning over 10 points. And at this point is when I wrote the blog post showing that we had made over 10 points on the single trade. But the trade plan continued. You'll notice a long trade here, but notice that it's in maroon. It's in a dark color, and that's because this trade is filtered out. We have an EMA here, and when it crosses between the entry and the first target, we say that that trade doesn't cut the mustard, and we avoid it, or at least we wait until conditions change. All right, there was a second trade, and this one also didn't cut the mustard at first, but you can make a small adjustment, and this is totally optional. There are those who maybe aren't going to do this, and those who are more advanced with the SST that are going to recognize that an attempt to get lower and a possible failed bottom in a market that's oversold here based on the OSOB could be signifying a nice trade to the upside. So making an adjustment over the mustard line with a really nice target is, like I said, it's completely optional. And so anyone who made that particular adjustment was really nice because that trade was off to the races, hitting a target and then, of course, picking up more on the trailer. So, you know, whether you count that one or not, it's completely up to you. Like I said, with the SST, there's a lot of ways to use it. And there are those who are advanced that have learned to make the SST their own, learning how the SST system works in relationship to price action. And then the final trade, of course, would have been this one. So if you're still trading, you would have made another trade, and that one maybe a little late in the session, and some of you may not even want to take a trade this late, and that's fine too. So I counted this again as an optional trade, and you would have had to mark it out anyway for just a small 6 tick. So this session could have gone a number of ways, depending on whether you took the second trade on an adjustment, depending on whether you took the third trade, or whether you just finished with the first trade. And there's nothing wrong with a one and done approach on a trade that makes double digits. But that's pretty much how the session went yesterday. And jumping to today, we still don't know how this session's going to go. A much quieter market. The 625 got short here at 798.4, and it's sitting a couple ticks above break even. The stop has come down quite a bit. Notice how the stop continues to give this trade room to do its thing. It wants to give the trade as much time and as much space as is feasible, but it's also going to be looking to cut risk as often as it can and as soon as it can. It just happens to be a very slow market today. So the 625 definitely takes a patient approach. It does, in my view, require some exposure to it for a while. You want to get used to it. You got to get used to the cadence of it. It can move quickly at times when the market's active, but it is very dynamic. It's going to slow down when the market's slow, obviously, because it's a tick chart. But dynamic trading is the way to go in my book, and it's what continues to bring success to us as SST Pro traders. All right, I hope that enlightens you and shows you kind of how the session went with the 625 yesterday. This is TJ with NetPicks and the 7 Summits Trader. Don't forget to grab your seats for our final release party happening in a couple days on Thursday, August 16th, the SST Pro. Hopefully we'll see you there, and good trading to all of you.